Hello, my name is Samuel Bates and this is XP3001 Jath, and this is me going to talk about the level design. So the first thing is that you start off here and you can see the big orange tube in the distance. That is the objective, and there's also this trail of various eggs which you can follow. There are also some eggs scattered around. Now, if you follow the trail of eggs, then it will lead you up to the place where you're supposed to go, to the big tube. But if you look around a bit, you can actually find some hidden gems and whatnot, all scattered around. And there's actually a variety of hidden gems, just sort of rummage, sort of hidden around the place as well. There's also a series of gems which you can run up here and pick up and get as well. But then the player would sort of go up this area. Here you get a tutorial which tells the player to shift to sprint. So to start off it's very slow walking up here, but then you get the shift to sprint and it tells you can basically run a lot quicker. Some more gems, eggs around the back here. Here the player is told that they can use X to jump, which I've already been using. Now the other gems are more so for players on a returning run. If they want to get a better score, they would come and want to pick up more gems. Oh, this is a jump you can't make unless you sprint jump. So if you just jump normally, you reach there and you sort of land a little bit in the ditch. But then if you sprint jump it, you can actually make it. The player also, if they have used jump here, the player's already taught the jump and is good enough here. So when they come up here, they already sort of know what's going on. As well, the player can also jump up here and collect various eggs. Now, if you fall off into this blue, you will hit the water, and then you respawn up here at the top. And this is for this entire section. No matter where you are in this particular section, if you fall anywhere in this water, you spawn back up here. The thing is, like, no matter where you are, you always can see that big tube as well. So some of these jumps are require long jumps, so these sprint jumps, and others are just regular jumps like that one there. Now you actually have two options here. You can either go this way, which is a bit longer, but it's actually a bit easier, or you can go up this way, which you would do like that. Alternatively, you can do both as well, and try and collect as many gems as you can. So here, this is basically because this is a really interesting thing that you can have this little pillar in the middle. That's quite interesting to sort of move around. Yeah, and so when you bounce up here, you get up to the top, and there's purple in the tube, and throughout the whole of the level you can see the tube, and in the tube there is a series of red and green collectibles which you can pick up, and at the bottom of the tube you pick up a silver one, which is the second best one. Now this section, you see your objective. You need to cross over this wall, and there's a button up there. Your player can't jump up here, and they can't jump over the wall either. Even if they try and run and jump, they can't get over it. So what they have to do is they have to pick up this tortoise. There's also some various collectibles around the place. The tortoise prevents the player from sprinting because it's quite heavy. But what the tortoise can do, as the prompt suggests, is you can use it to throw. So if I can throw, and it will hit the button, and on the button there'll be some sort of food that tortoise likes, and then it lowers down the door. So I'm going to collect the rest of these collectibles. The little collectible down there. Now the little path guides the player. So it had a little fork here. Half it went up there, the other went there. If the player went over here, they realise that, oh snap, I can't get through because of this lettuce wall. But then they're told the tortoise can eat lettuce. But also, you might notice there's a little gold collectible. Now I like to put little gold collectibles down around and down in little areas which are quite hard to get, and gold is the most valuable collectible. So some more collectibles over here. And so what the player would have to do is they would have to pick up the tortoise and pick up this collectible in the corner. They can move over and eat the lettuce. And for rewarding the player for keeping hold of the tortoise, I have a little silver collectible. All these jumps as well. Now if the player falls off here into this water, they will spawn back up at the top over here. So then they would have to go back. And if the player falls off here, they'll spawn back up at the top as well. Now this section introduces to the player that they have to wall run. So the player cannot wall run with the whilst holding the tortoise. So what they have to do instead is they can lock the tortoise and start wall running, but then there's a wall in the way, and when they hit the wall, they fall down. So what the player would have to do is pick up the tortoise and chuck him at that button over there. And when it goes on the button, the player can now wall run across. Now this section teaches the player to wall jump. Now the player cannot get across by just wall running. They have to also use a thing called a wall jump. You might have noticed all of the collectibles on the wall running sections are green. That is to reward the player because wall running is a lot more tricky than just regular movement. And green is the second tier of collectible. Over here we have another big wall in the way. The player can't jump over it, so they have to pick up the tortoise. Also on all of the buttons there are some sort of reward. So this button, there's a purple one, over there is a purple one, and over there is a silver one, because this section is going to be quite tricky. So the player can throw it across, and the wall runs section will open. There's also a cheeky little one down here. This section is quite difficult. I know that each of the sections where you have to do a wall jump, there's a blue collectible that is to reward the player for jumping across so spectacularly. Now if the player falls off down here, they will spawn back up to the top. This is a non-safe environment. So before, over there, we had a safe environment to introduce the mechanic, and now they have a not-so-safe environment. Actually, down here, there's actually a little gold collectible, so you can fall down here. You can do that, but that's only for those who are searching for it. To basically reward players who are searching around. Take a little bit of time just looking around. Again, over here, there's another little purple one hidden in the corner. If the player falls off here as well, they spawn back on this. Now we discover the tortoise. Now, if the player wants to continue out the tortoise, they'll notice there's a lettuce wall. So then that keens to the player that they're saying, oh, hey, there's a lettuce wall up there, so I need to bring the tortoise with me. And again, there's a silver collectible on top to reward the player. If the tortoise ever sort of falls on to the water, it spawns exactly the same place where the player will spawn as well. All this section is just single jumps as well, because the player cannot jump long jump when they have the tortoise. Now this is another little ramp which the player can go down, and this will lead them into the final section of the map, which is a waterfall puzzle. And actually down here as well there's another collectible. So to complete this puzzle, so first the setup, there is a waterfall here, and the player can wall run across, but there's a waterfall, so that means that the player will die each time they go into the waterfall. But there's also a door elevated, which seems it can lower, and there's a button across the other side. So what the player will have to do is pick up the tortoise and chuck him along the other side, which will lower down this wall, and then the waterfall will be blocked off, and the player can now wall run across to the other side. This also reveals a lettuce wall as well. So the player can now pick up the tortoise and go down into the lettuce wall and actually win the game. And here, I say thanks for playing, but also it tells us our value and our score. So what it does is it timeses the time and the splashes together, but minuses it off the egg value, so our collectible value from here, and then we get our final score of 616. Anyway, that has been my level design, so thank you very much, and bye.